Hi friends, this is Lorraine. Welcome to Lolly Creations. Please enjoy the video. We are going to use 4 of these little window signs from DollarTree. Let's first of all take all the plastic off and get ready for our project. Since last year I was looking for these windows, I was lucky enough to find them at 2 of my DollarTrees this year, so I'm pretty happy and excited to make this project. For this project, I'll be also using some of the tumbling tower blocks from DollarTree to help me have a little bit more surface area when I put these panels together to form 4 different sizes. Here I'm trying to figure out which way will be best to attach them together, to either do the 2 panels holding each other on the sides or from the inside. So once I got everything situated, I went ahead and started prepping my pieces to be attached together. I took the tumbling tower blocks and I wanted to attach them to the bottom part, since that was the area that had the most surface for me to attach them, and for the tumbling tower blocks did not show by the other end or from the outside of the lantern. I wanted to make sure that I put it where it will be hidden and also provide some stability to the walls of the lantern. I used I used the tumbling tower blocks and the pieces to figure out the spacing in between in order for the tumbling tower blocks to be able to touch the other area of the side panel that I'm attaching. So I found that to be the easy way. I am not a very big person of measurements, so I figured this was the easiest way to get it done. I attached some of the wood glue, the hot glue, onto the piece and then attach the tumbling tower block, ensuring that the 2 pieces met each other and that later on that tumbling tower block is going to be able to fit flushly together with the side piece. I repeated that with 2 of the side pieces until I had 2 pieces that had the 2 tumbling tower blocks in the bottom and 2 pieces that did not. Here I'm attaching the hot glue. I did a little bit on the little corner of the tumbling tower block where that other side panel would have touched it, and all along the piece that was on the table. In order to ensure that I had the best bond, I placed the hot glue in all the areas where the 2 pieces would have met and touched. You also need to make sure that the outside of the panels are flush with the other one, so you have, seamless corners. Here I'm attaching the last piece. It needs to be wedged between the 2 other pieces, so I made sure that I put hot glue onto the pieces that were there and very quickly place the other piece on top in order to wedge it in between. I just found it to be easier and safer this way, so I wouldn't get burned with the hot glue like I do seams like every single project that I do. The last 4 pieces are together. Now I'm removing these pieces. I wish I would have done this in the beginning, because it would have been a lot easier for me to take off these little stubborn pieces of glue that are left back once you remove that. So was the little scrapers that come in a 4-pack from the Dollar Tree. I used it to try to remove by scraping it off and making it flush with the rest of the plastic. Just be very careful when you're doing this to ensure that you're not gashing holes onto the plastic of the little area that you will be using. try to do it as flush as possible and try to remove only the glue. I also went ahead and used the scraper to remove any excess glue that oozed out of the joints of the wall arts there, and we're almost done. Unfortunately, in the middle of scraping off, I broke off one of the pieces on there on one of the sides, but nothing that a little bit of hot glue didn't fix, and we are back in business. Once everything dried, I went ahead and I did a whole line of glue in all the joints there to make sure that this was as strong as it could possibly be. So I just make sure I put extra glue right in those little joints there. Waited for it to dry, and we are ready for the next step. Using some of my homemade chalk paint, I went ahead and did some dry brushing using one of the little cheapy brushes from the DollarTree. I did my painting using one direction strokes going sideways in every single area there, making sure that it was a light distressing. It was actually a heavy distressing. It's because I wanted some of that gray color to show through the paint as well, but I did want this to have a brighter color. So we are doing a heavy distressing with the white, making sure that we get most of the areas and leave some of that gray peeking through. As you are doing this painting, just make sure that you are doing all the nicks and crannies in the same way, all in one direction. I repeated the same technique in the inside, and here's gonna give me more of that black and white distressed look. And just go ahead and you do the same thing. You're gonna go ahead and make sure that all the nooks and crannies are covered. In some places I did leave some of the black exposed because I do want to have that rustic feel to the piece as well. It just gives me a little bit more character. Here I'm just making sure that I go over, make sure that I didn't miss any areas that are just still gray. Make sure that all the pieces look cohesive. And now it's time, once they're dried, to seal in the paint. So I'm using some of Rust-Oleum's white chalk paint. I'm sorry, not Rust-Oleum chalk paint. Some Rust-Oleum clear coat. Here it is, to seal in all the paint to make sure that this has longevity. Once the piece dried, I brought it inside, and I was trying to use this garland from the DollarTree. It looked cute, but it was kind of heavy. It was hard to maneuver through the pieces and weave them in and out, so I went with a different approach. I tried my best to make it work, but it wasn't. So I went ahead and took the garland off and went and got a different one that I had gotten recently from one of my trips to the DollarTree last week, that it was a little bit easier to maneuver, and I think it gave it more of a softer look. I don't know, you guys let me know in the comments which one do you prefer, if you like this one or the one I end up putting next. This garland is new to the DollarTree. I got it last week. I never seen it before. and I like how full it is, and it looks very realistic. And I also like how long it is. It was, in my opinion, a little bit easier to work with, and it gives this piece a fuller look. I was actually kind of amazed on how long it was as well. Usually the garlands from the Dollar Tree are a lot smaller than this, a lot shorter, but this one was pretty good. I really love it. Here I wanted this to look full, so I went with weaving it in and out, in and out through all of the little slats that it has there, and going around it as many times as I could afford to do, as long as until the garland was done. And I kind of like how it ended up. You guys let me know. But it was a little tedious, I have to say, to do this part of weaving, most of the garland through in and out. But once the piece got shorter, of course it was a lot easier, and I was satisfied in how full this ended up being. I had left a little tail that I had added in when I added the first part. So I left the end a little bit out. So now I'm weaving that one in the opposite direction and using that piece to fill up a little bit more the beginning space of the weaving process here. So here it is as I'm completing it. This part looks a little bit scanty, so I'm trying to bring it out as much as I could and fill up this area so it looks cohesive with the rest. And this is how the Greenary ended up looking on here. I went ahead and rested on one of my chargers, and I'm going to complete this with some candles. I love candles, guys. These are not real candles. These are battery operated remote lighting candles that I have throughout my house, and this is how it turned out. Let me know how you like it. Here they are all lit up. Let me know how you guys like it. If you like my projects, if you like my channel, please guys don't forget to leave me some love by liking, commenting, subscribing. This is how YouTube knows that I'm doing a good job and you guys like my content. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time. Have a great day.